and thank you for joining us for the Inside ODOT podcast. I'm Liz McIntyre from ODOT Communications and your host for today's episode. In this episode, you'll hear a day in the life of an ODOT incident responder from Region 3 incident responder Beau Appling. And with Safety Break happening throughout the month of May, Director Kris Strickler talks about this year's theme and why safety is 24/7. And lastly, you'll hear from Student Billboard Contest winner Kristina Baldwin and ODOT's Chief Engineer Mike Kimlinger about how a competition can inspire creativity. Welcome, and let's get started. Faster response means faster clearance times, and faster clearance times means less time on scene for responders. Incident responder Beau Appling shares how his team responds to emergencies and works to keep everyone safe.
The main purpose of my position is to provide traffic control for emergency scenes on the highway. We're the rapid response, so we're equipped with the light package, the emergency lights, the sirens, so we're able to rapidly respond to emergency situations, whereas our backup, the maintenance guys, they're responding at normal highway speeds. So we're able to get there quickly, get eyes on the scene, find out exactly what needs to be done, what resources need to be coming. Faster response means faster clearance times, which means less on-scene time for responders. And that's another one of our goals, is to minimize the amount of time that any responder spends on scene. The less time we're there, the smaller chance we have of getting hit and killed on scene. One of our biggest roles on scene is public messaging. I'd say 50% of the time when I roll up on scene, I roll up and I check on it, and then I back up and I'm just doing pre-warning messaging to the public. The last thing we want is for people to come around the corner and then all of a sudden find themselves in an emergency situation and have to make quick judgment calls to change lanes or avoid some kind of hazard in the road. So that's what we're trying to do when we're out there with our signs and lights and message boards. That's the 10% of what I do. The 90% is removing roadway hazards, so like tire debris, road struck deer, that kind of stuff. And then finding disabled motorists, pulling over, seeing what's wrong, make sure they're okay, and then whatever I can do to help them get back on the road. We have the understanding that being on the side of the road is one of the most dangerous places you can be. So any way I can minimize the time that they're stuck there, the better they're going to be. Most disabled motorists I stop and help are usually just a flat tire or they're out of gas, real simple fixes. Occasionally it's a more severe problem. Come upon people having medical issues, heart attacks. I've found dead bodies in cars where they just croaked driving down the road. You do what you can, and when the moment presents itself, you call it in, get better help coming, and then protect the scene while you're there. It's a position of peaks and valleys. There's a lot of valley where it's slow going, looking for stuff to do, and then when some emergency happens, it's a very high peak. Depending on the severity of the incident, you go from 0 to 100 right away, calling in help, calling in resources, especially working weekends. There's always that decision I have to make of, as soon as I get the call, is this something that I know is going to be serious enough to where I need to get people out of bed or on their way into work right away, or do I wait till I get there to verify before I call people in? And then the whole way there, you're just constantly taking in more information as more people are calling in the incident. As other first responders arrive on scene, we're scanning their channels, so we're able to gather information from there. So even just notification to arrival, it's an adrenaline spike just trying to take in everything. And then once you're there, then focus in, protect the scene. I'd say a good day is a boring day, but a lot of the locals know how to take care of themselves too. So usually I show up and they tell me they don't need me, so I move on.
May is Safety Break Month. This year's Safety Break theme, Safety 24/7, was submitted by fiscal analyst Angela Brothers in Financial Services. Director Strickler talks about why safety is 24/7 and how you can participate in this year's Safety Break activities.
Hello, ODOT, and welcome to Safety Break 2024. Thank you for participating in this important event. This annual event is promoted by Oregon OSHA with the goal of raising awareness and promoting the value of workplace safety and health. At ODOT, we observe Safety Break during the entire month of May in order to accommodate your busy schedule and ours. I hope you take the time to participate on a day or time that works best for your crews, and that helps inform you in how to be safe throughout the entire year for all the work that you do. This year's Safety Break theme is Safety 24/7. It was submitted by Angela Brothers in Financial Services. Her theme was selected from among more than 120 suggestions from ODOT employees. Thank you for your submittal, Angela. It really captures the things that are important as we think about safety for our agency. Safety 24/7 means safety encompasses everything that we do, every day, every hour. It's not linear. There's no finish line. It's not something that we can complete once and then we're done. Safety is a continuous cycle of improvement, and not only looking out for yourselves, looking out for the public, but looking out for each other to make sure everything we do across this great state is done safely and effectively. There are a wide variety of activities that you can complete individually or as a group, and you can find these activities on the Safety Break SharePoint page. You can also get creative and come up with your own safety activity. All we ask is that you do it with the mind of keeping everybody in your workplace safe all year round. This year, the Office of Employee Safety also arranged a variety of live presentations with topics that range from injury prevention all the way through employee burnout. Please visit the Office of Employee Safety webpage to see a complete list of activities that you or your crew can participate in. We're continually making great improvements to our employees' health and safety program. Over the last 5 years, we've been able to decrease the number of work-related injuries and reduce the financial cost of those injuries to employees and to the state. Having less injuries means less people carrying the burden of an injury home with them at night. Safety is one of our core values, and Safety Break allows us the opportunity to raise awareness and promote safety in all that we do. Your feedback on all of this year's activities and then into the future is really important to us. So please make sure to complete the feedback questionnaire when you've completed your activities. It helps us to improve in the coming years. I want to thank you for all that you do for Oregonians. The work you do is dangerous. You do work in all corners of the state in ways that most people don't even have the ability to appreciate how dangerous it might be. And I want to continue to reinforce that you can't keep the public safe if you're not safe yourself. Our agency is about the people, and the people of our agency are what makes it great. And so I want to thank you again, not just for what you do, but who you are and what you bring to this agency. And be safe, ODOT.
ODOT partnered with Asphalt Pavement Association of Oregon and Willamette Education Service District to give Oregon high school students the opportunity to design a billboard to promote safe driving awareness through work zones. ODOT Chief Engineer Mike Kimlinger gives a behind-the-scenes look at creating a student competition.
So, Mike Kimlinger, I'm Oregon DOT's Chief Engineer, and the story about this billboard contest is actually kind of fun. We've got all kinds of advisory committees at ODOT. One of those is the Safety and Mobility Policy Advisory Committee. And out of conversations in that group, there was a suggestion about we need to do things different. What else can we do to try and reach out to people, to have a conversation about safety in work zones? And someone saw something about billboards somewhere else. I think it was a college competition on the East Coast. Didn't have anything to do with what we're doing, but it rang a bell for them. And so they made some suggestion, and that sort of was like, well, why can't we? Let's put together something that we ask the students to produce. Treat it sort of like it's a regular request for proposal. Here's what we want. You submit your work, and we'll pick them from that the thing that we think meets our needs the most. And that's what we communicated out to the school system. Huge response from them in a positive way, thinking that this would be a really good thing for students and a really good thing for people who are just learning how to drive, to try and tell us what they think about this sort of thing.
Definitely. And so what kind of went into the process of determining what are the structure? How did you decide what the guidelines were when you were sending out that proposal saying this is what we're looking for? I know that there were like kind of a lot of graphic design elements as far as like we want it in horizontal, not vertical, those sorts of things. What other like safety things were you thinking about, or like accessibility with color contrast, that sort of thing?
Sure. So good question about the way to structure the billboard and what were we looking for in the messages and stuff. We gave them a list of things and locations where lots of information was. So websites where there's information, some stuff that ODOT already produces, some stuff that industry already produces around safety, especially in work zones, connections to national web pages, ideas about color, some other things about contrast, some ideas around legibility from distance. So these are messages that are on a board that's anywhere in the neighborhood of 10 or 12 feet tall and 24 plus feet wide. But it's a long distance away from the people who are driving. And so you don't realize how big things need to be seen from that distance until you try and put something out there like, hey, you put out a garage sales sign on the side of the road, and then you realize as you drive by that nobody can read it. Well, you got to have things a certain size to be seen from a distance. And so we gave them some ideas about how what would work there, and some ideas around complexity. If the picture's too complex, it's too hard to understand what's going on. So try and make your message clear and simple, that kind of thing, and contrasting colors is always good.
So then what did you learn throughout this process?
Well, I learned that my perception about what might be a good message in going out there doesn't necessarily resonate with everybody else. A lot of that is my bias from the things I've done over the years, my way of looking at stuff. I need to set some of that aside in these sorts of things to say, well, there's probably another way to get a message out to a different group of people than ones who are like me. And that's an important thing to do too.
So would you say that this project was successful? And if so, are you planning on doing it again?
I think it was a huge success from several points. We got a lot of folks who participated, which means that the school system and the students took it on and thought it was worth doing. So there's a success all in itself. We asked some kids to do some things, and they actually were willing to do them. Also, I think that we won't know if the messages change anything on the roadway system, but we think that what it's done is start a conversation. And for kids to be talking about safety is a big thing, and for all of these people in this room to recognize that that's a good conversation too, that's a success also. And yes, we're going to do more of it. We have a spring contest already announced, and the intent is to continue this into the next few years still. So I think win-win. We won, kids won. I think the public will win because it will generate some conversation.
Silverton High School student Kristina Baldwin is one of the 4 students who submitted winning designs for our Work Zone Safety Billboard contest this fall. Through her own research and inspiration from an anatomy class, Kristina shares more about her design, "Don't drive reckless, you might end up breathless."
So I'm Kristina Baldwin. I come from Silverton High School and I'm 17. I'm a senior.
So what interested you about this project?
So my teacher, she asked other couple students, like, would you be interested in this? I think it'd be a great opportunity. And I'm in a multimedia design class, so it's kind of free, choose your own project. And I was in need of a project, so I was like, hey, this is a good opportunity to work on something.
What inspired you to do the design you chose?
So I took an anatomy class last year, and we learned about the EKGs. So I wanted to incorporate a flat line in, so I added that to the S. And I did some research. I had no idea what to put onto a safety billboard, so I researched catchy slogans to put on billboards. So I did a lot of looking at Google pictures of the electronic signs on the freeways or highways, and a lot of them that are like click it or ticket. So I wanted to do something catchy and easy to read, not a bunch of information.
What did you enjoy most while working on this project?
It was difficult, but I did enjoy coming up with the idea and incorporating the EKG sign into it.
Did you get to see the billboard in person? And if you did, what did you think? What was that experience like?
We've been trying to look for it lately. I know my teacher has gone and seen it twice, but we're hoping to find it soon.
What sort of feelings do you think you might feel once you see that in person?
Very excited and surprised that my design made it up there. Don't drive reckless, you might end up breathless.
You have been listening to the Oregon Department of Transportation's Inside ODOT podcast. If you'd like to learn more about these topics or read this month's news stories, you can find links on our show notes page. If you have story suggestions or any feedback for us, hit us up at the Inside ODOT mailbox. Until then, I'm Liz McIntyre. Safe travels, everyone.